Hello, you lovely, lovely people. We're going to have a little topic on, I think, the hard truths of being an expat. I've never heard no one talk about it. But this is just through my own experiences and how I feel from time to time. But it's not all glory here. Uh, Sometimes I do anyway. I sometimes feel isolated. Because, of the cultural differences. Um, and as many people have spoke about it before, is, trying to get your point across sometimes. And not just to your wife or your partner, but, to your Filipino friends. It's very hard to be understood sometimes. And, of course, it can lead to isolation. Fortunately, I don't feel it too often, but I do feel it sometimes. And then, like I don't mix with, expats, really. And it's not because, I don't actively seek them out. Put it that way. I don't avoid them. I just don't actively seek them out. And some of the ones that I have spoken with, some of them I don't really, I don't get on with them in the way that, of their attitude, where they're always complaining about things. So I would rather be on my own than, be mixing with expats when they just don't do anything but complain about things. That's just me. That's just me, people. But, it's not all, being a foreigner here, being an expat here, for someone like me, anyway, I'm only talking through my experience and how I feel sometimes. And as we all know, being an expat, a foreigner here, we're never going to truly fit in. We're never going to truly fit in. Like I said before, we are never, ever going to be part of the gang here. As much as you might have some nice Filipino friends, like I've got some good Filipino friends, but you're never going to be part of that gang. Like it or not, it's a fact. Because they have their own ways and you've got your own ways. And like I said, it's very difficult to communicate sometimes when their English is very limited. And even when they have good English, sometimes the vocabularies that we use can be misinterpreted, meaning, they see it, they take it differently. Maybe not in a bad way, but they take it differently sometimes. So it can be quite hard here being a expat. And I think that's why many expats mix with expats, because it makes them feel more at home, I think. Fortunately for me, I don't feel isolated too much, but I do get isolated. I do feel sometimes that way. And it's not, it's not a complaint. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this because maybe some of you guys maybe feel the same as I do from time to time. But I like the Philippines for all of its good and all of its bad. But it's not all shiny. It's not all shiny. It's the not so shiny part of living in a foreign country like the Philippines. Because it's not all paradise. We all still have our problems, just because we're in a foreign country, in a tropical country, doesn't mean to say that we still don't come across problems, because we do. Like right now, we're building this house, and it's been going on for a long time, and of course it causes tension in the house as well between me and my wife. There is tension sometimes, mainly with me, because I would like it to move on a bit quicker, and it's just the Filipino way. They just move at their own pace, and there's nothing I can do to hurry it along, if you like. So I keep saying to my wife sometimes, why is it taking so long? Why is this? And she says, Stephen, you know, it's just the way it is. Well, yeah, it's the way it is, but it's just the way that I'm not used to. The way it is. But it's getting there. And also, you know, if I was to do this again, buy a land and build a house, would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. I would. It's too stressful. It's too stressful to build your own house out here. I would, if I was to do it again, I would buy the house and lot already built and probably enjoy renovating it, not building from scratch, because it's time consuming. It takes a lot of energy and also takes a lot of cash as well. You know, you don't realize how much cash it takes until you start. It really does, people. It takes a lot. And of course, the building materials are up and down all the time like a yo-yo. So what might be a price today for something, tomorrow could be an increase or a decrease, probably an increase. But I would never do this again. I wouldn't. I would buy a house and lot and just renovate. You know, many of you would probably think that, well, you know, you're building your own house, you can leave your mark on it. Well, you can still leave your mark on a house and lot if you're doing a renovation. But I certainly wouldn't do this again. Whew. It's testing. It's testing. And it's not testing because of the house. It's a lovely house. It's just testing because of, I've had so many different workers here. And they just come and go. And it's the frustration of that. The frustration of, are they going to turn up? The frustration is of, are they going to do a full day? Because some of them come and they do half a day and go. Or they go for lunch and don't come back. And it's not because their salary that I'm giving them is small, because I'm giving them more than what other people would give. It's just the way it happens here, people. It's just the way it happens. And of course, these things grind you down. Like having someone to talk to about it who would understand your point of view. Because when I talk to people here, even some of the workmen here that I know, and I talk to them about it, and they said, it's just the way it is, Stephen, you know. It's just the way it is. And it is just the way it is. But sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes. But that's only one little problem. Oh, almost fell over. There was another thing I wanted to talk about as well. I can't think what it was. I can't think what it was, people. It's just gone through my mind and it's just gone. It's gone. I can't think what it was. I've remembered what it was. And it was getting things done. Anything that's official. Getting things done. Like anything. And I'm going to use this as an example because it happened to us. When me and my wife was getting married, and we got married by a judge here, okay? We didn't go for the white wedding or anything like that. We went through a judge. Now, the judge here, he'd never married a foreigner before. So, as you people know, if you've been married here in the Philippines, there was a lot of process that we have to go through, okay? So, I had to go to the embassy, do like a sworn affidavit that there was no reason that I shouldn't get married and blah, blah, blah. Get it apostilled and everything like that. Anyway, did all that, went back to the registrar, and yes, stamped, yes, all good, sir, all good. Now, the day of the wedding, we was meant to be married at 11 o'clock now. And we was there at, I think, 9:30. We was there very early, and stood outside, and the judge's office is right next door to a police station because it's a court as well. And there was there's people stood out there, so I got talking to, and there was a guy smoking a cigarette, small little guy, and I said hello, and he started talking about football. I don't like football. I'm British, but I don't like football. But he was a big Manchester United fan, Filipino. Anyhow, I was talking for 5 or 10 minutes, and he said, "Oh, you getting married?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh," he said, "I'm the judge." I said, "Oh, great." You'd never think it, but he was a judge. Stood there smoking a cigarette and stuff. So, anyway, he went in, and one of the people who worked for the judge come out and said, "Have you got this document?" I said, "Document? What document?" And they said something, I can't remember what it was. And they said, the judge can't marry you without it. And I said, "But it's all been passed by the registrar. And, it's all been stamped." And anyway, I spoke to the judge and he said, "No," he says, "I need this document." I can't think what it was. But he said, I've never married a foreigner, so I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. And this 11 o'clock had been and gone. Now it's about 12 o'clock. He was not going to marry us. And he was making phone calls because he was worried in case he was going to get into trouble because he didn't know if the documentation was correct. Well, it was correct. Anyway, what he did, he phoned up the judge in Palanco, which is not far from here, and it was a female judge. And he spoke to her because that's near Dipolog City and more foreigners live there. And this judge had married foreigners before. So he was talking to her and he was saying to her what documents we had. And she said, "Yes, that's the correct document." So he came back and he says, "When do you want to get married?" And I said, "Well, like 2 hours ago," like joking about, like laughing. He said, "Well, come on, we'll get married." He says, "I'll marry you." But that was the thing as well, It's like, it's a misunderstanding. It's a big misunderstanding of things here. And it can be a worry sometimes. Like the bank account the other day. I wasn't told that you have to update the bank. No one told me, and they froze my bank account until I went in there and sorted the problem out. So it's these things that people don't talk about. They just talk about the good things of the Philippines and some of the bad things of the Philippines, but not really what I'm talking about. Like now, like loneliness, isolation. And I'm sure many expats living here do feel this. They do feel, I'm sure. And it's not isolation because you choose to be isolated. It's the isolation feeling when you can't communicate properly. Or you can communicate properly, but it's with a Filipina or a Filipino, they don't take it as you are trying to get it across, and it can be bloody frustrating. It can be bloody frustrating, guys. Sometimes I've just said yes and no to something that I've been talking about because they haven't got the gist of what I'm talking about. So I just think, "Oh, Stephen, just forget it. Just forget it." And it's just simple. Simple conversations sometimes can be damn difficult. But I love it here. I do. I do love it here. For all of its flaws, I do love it here. But I think it should be spoke about, the not so shiny parts of living here. I'm not talking of pensions. I'm not talking of social security because many vloggers talk about that. And yes, it's good information for people who need to know that. It is good information. I just haven't got the knowledge on it to be able to talk about it because I don't draw anything. I don't know what the process is. I just know that it can be a problem here. Sometimes, if you don't deal with it in your own country before coming here, it can be stopped. It can be frozen. Your bank account can be frozen. No money in the Philippines, guys. It can be very difficult. No money anywhere can be very difficult. But at least if you haven't got no money in your own country, you've got friends and family, perhaps. And that's another thing as well, friends. When you live here for so long, the friends that you have in your own country become more distant. So the relationship, I'm talking of my experience here, the relationship that I had with my friends was, I had a handful of close friends. It becomes less and less. So the people that you could talk to in your own country, it kind of dissipates because the time differential for a start, and they've got their own life, you've got your own life. So, you know, you kind of lose the close contact with your friends as well. And again, that's why many expats, I think, here mix with other expats. And like I said before, I don't avoid expats. I just don't actively go seeking them out. I don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved in petty things. I don't want to get involved in the dramas that they can sometimes create when they are in a crowd of their own sort. And I don't want to get into that pattern of drinking regularly with them. I've just got no interest in that. I really haven't. So there's nothing here that would make me want to do that. And there's been some comments, saying, why don't you mix with, expats? And that's it. Like I said, I don't avoid them. I just don't actively seek them out. Okay. And where I am here, there's only my neighbour, who's Australian, which I don't, we talk to each other. Hello, good morning. Sometimes he comes round and, but it's not meaningful. It's not meaningful. I do get on with Filipinos very well. Very, very well. But it's not the same. It's not the same, and it never will be the same because of the cultural difference. It's like a clash sometimes. And because of the way that they are and the way that I am, things can be misinterpreted, like little jokes. Sometimes, because I like to joke around, and the jokes that I think, sometimes they take them seriously, And I say, no, it's not meant as offensive. It's just a joke, Like, I would say, oh, you bloody lazy sod. Things like that. And they, lazy? No, I didn't mean literally lazy. I'm just saying things like that. Things can be taken the wrong way. But luckily they know me now, and I can get around that. So they know the way that I am. And they always say, oh, you're a joker. Yeah, I'm a joker. It's best to say, yes, you are, even if you're not, because it can get you out of some trouble. True, guys. True, guys. It is true. So that's it, really, people. It's just, the not so shiny part of being an expat in the Philippines, or being in any country, maybe. And the truths about it. Because it's not all glory here, like I said, it's not all rainbows and leprechauns and the gold at the end of at the end of the rainbow. It's not all that sometimes. But I love it here. 99% of the time, I love it. 1%, I think, what am I doing here? But my choice. I would never go back to England through choice. I like it here too much. So people, listen, thank you. Hope you like the content. I hope you can relate to some of it. And dog barking down there, don't know who it is. He's seen me, but so be it. Thank you guys for always supporting the channel, and take good care. And whatever you're doing, try and do it well. God bless you, lovely people. Bye bye.